All right, well, let me start by just saying that this is Growing Up Aspen, joiners table chat that we're having here with Mike Tache, who comes from a long line of ski racers and ski folk. And so when you think of Aspen and skiing, well, the Tache name is a big part of that. How's the chairlifts and stuff changing? Because I see that they keep upgrading and they're talking about this chair is going to now go to Boise and this one's, and so they're slowly upgrading stuff. And I mean, when the quads came in and the high-speed quads came into Snowmass and stuff, I remember that was like a game changer because it was like now you could get people up and out and all that kind of stuff. Has that kind of, yeah, has that kind of, because I heard Vail last year was like lines like crazy in Vail last year.
Oh, come on. Those were all over social media. You had to have seen those. They were nuts in Vail. You couldn't pay me to go do that. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. Back in the bowls guys were skinning back out. The lines were so long.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they said it was horrible. We're so spoiled here. We may get a lift line, on a deep powder day that's, 40, 45 minutes maybe.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
The rest of the day, there are no lines. You're just buzzing around.
Well, I grew up on Highlands, so I was right at the base there. When I left Cemetery Lane, I lived at the base of Highlands. So I literally walked to the top of my road, which was a block, slapped my skis on by Vidian's house, and then skied on down. Yeah, it was like my childhood was awesome.
Yeah, I remember that. Totally. Oh man, you had it made. But yeah, I tell you, the new development that's about to happen at 1A.
Yeah.
You guys have been hearing about that.
Yeah, no, I was just there in town. And
so, yeah, they're going to put that whole development right, can you believe that? Right there at 1A. And put a new lift in there.
So the skier chalet is going to get torn down and it's going to go up right over the skier chalet, basically.
And they're redoing the chalet so we can start going to dinner there again. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
But I guess the lift they're going to put in there is going to be a mix. Gandhi, something.
Wait, really?
Pack. I don't know.
So how would you describe the change of the culture? I mean, we're talking a little bit about new different folks that are in there because it feels to me like I remember when our families all ran the hotels, they owned everything, they ran everything, and now it's those people that came to visit and stayed in the hotels and stayed in the condos and stuff now own the homes. So they've stepped out from being tourists to trying to be local tourists. And so it's kind of an interesting quagmire because I see a lot of people that live there in basically employee housing if they're not, have some family connection to something, but other than that, you're living in employee housing like Low Simple,
Yeah.
Well, my brother, yeah.
And so it's a different culture. That is a very different culture when you are the haves and the have-nots in that situation. And it makes it real obvious. Whereas when we were kids, you couldn't tell the difference. Everybody drove a truck or a Jeep or a Subaru, and that was it. It was really no
Saab.
Yeah, you couldn't tell George.
Totally.
You couldn't tell George Stranahan from someone else. He just fit
right
in.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how the culture has changed.
Yeah. Did you read Roger's article this week?
This week? No, not yet.
You got to check it out. He tapped right on this.
Okay, cool.
Love Raj. He tapped right on this. And it's just evolution of Aspen and what we have going on. You guys know this. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grandma, right?
Yeah.
Family, like you said, right?
Yeah.
But everyone has been pushed out and, either sold out and went somewhere else because town was changing and they didn't like it. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's a different crowd here now. And if you can't accept the growth that has happened here, you're out of here.
Right.
Do I particularly like all the money that's in this town and the influences that it's created. Not really, but I love too much about Aspen still, and I've been a coach for the club for 30 plus years.
Right.
I've seen so much in these 30 years with the parents that I have to deal with, the kids, and how the kids, have changed through those times.
Can you elaborate on some of that? Because you have a key insight here that a lot of people don't.
I guess I probably do. The working class like we had when we grew up, and the money that came here back, as Raj put it in his article, the money that was here back then, they didn't want you to know about it. Right. They tried to be a part of the crowd, of the local crowd, right? And it was really cool back in those days and how that was. And so their kids that were a part of what was going on were more working class and wanting to be involved, and they just had to be really honest with you, better work ethic. I think as I've come through, not to say that kids don't this day, it's just it's different in how, oh boy, and it's hard to, you have to say it, the money influence side of it, and things are easier for these kids now than it was back then. Say for us, you wanted to make it was, you
had to work hard.
You had to work hard, right?
Practice.
Not that these kids don't have to work hard to get what they want, but there's a little bit different attitude that comes with having the cash versus not having the cash, and how hard you work knowing that you don't to get there.
Or getting the red line versus the Huffy. Or getting the red line. Or getting the red line versus the Huffy in the BMX.
Exactly. The red line, that was like the cherry. Oh, yeah.
Red line, yeah.
Not a chance.
Forgot about that.
Not a chance.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because Aspen, I see Aspen as a frog. When they talk about the ecology of a place, the frog is sort of the epitome of what the environment is going on and going like. And I've always seen Aspen as a frog for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's different in that it's up in the mountains and it's kind of away, and everybody's, no matter what's like Lo says, it doesn't matter what part of time in the world you're talking about, Aspen will always be better than anywhere else. That's why everybody's leaving everywhere else just to go to Aspen. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much money you have or you don't have. That's why people are going there, and they will always do that. So that will always be that won't change. You know what I mean? Everybody keeps talking about change, but that one thing won't change. Aspen will always be better than anywhere else. You know what I mean? Because it is a small town. It is, it does have a lot of different stuff. When we moved to Aspen, the reason why we chose Aspen over Steamboat was because Steamboat wasn't really developed yet. It was just starting. They were just starting with the condos and all that stuff. And my mom was like, I want a place with a real city hall and a real town. And Aspen had that,
Oh, and Dad, nice work.
Yeah. I feel really lucky. It was my mom that really
right across the street.
Yeah, so
you and Mark, thank you. Yeah, it was fun times.
I know. Well, I felt lucky. That Cemetery Lane group, that was really fun. At that time period, the trampolines and all that stuff.
Man, we had a good time.
It was interesting because the reason we called our book, Adventures of the Unsupervised, was because we certainly were all over the place, just running around, and our parents were off having fun with themselves and their own friends and all that stuff.
Got it.
So
hell, I'm the youngest out of how many, and I'm like 6 years behind my next brother, right?
Yeah.
So they were like over the parenting thing by the time I showed up. So kind of free reign, some free reign going on there, and give some advantage.
Well, you guys live by the golf course too, so You guys kind of took over the golf course area.
So
yeah, it was
that's
awesome.
it. I mean, literally. So my dad, that's why he came here. That was the big caveat.
Yeah.
Helped Stein run the Highland Ski School.
Yeah.
Because he had just started that.
Mm-hmm.
And he told Stein, hey, if you can get me the golf course job, because I got kids, I got to have a full-time year-round deal. I'm in. Stein called him back and said, yeah, city wants you. They'll hire you as the pro and help start the golf course.
Cool.
There was no golf course. And
That's
so
awesome.
there was one house down Cemetery Lane.
Yeah.
The one we moved into.
Yeah.
No, that's no shit.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. Totally.
There was no that road where you're at.
Bonita Drive.
Nothing was there, man. It was still nothing. And they started it out of the back of the T-Bird Cadillac they had, whatever the hell car it was. That was a pro shop.
Wow.
Popped the back up. We had some clothes on the inside. Yeah, crazy.
Well, that's the time Warren Miller would show up in a van and people would be like, who is that crazy dude? And eventually became Warren Miller.
You know how he started his gig too, was Sun Valley, out living in his car in the parking lot.
Yep.
He'd film guys with his little camera.
Yep.
He'd go in there at happy hour and show the films.
Yeah.
That's no shit. That in Sun Valley, and that's how he started.
Well, you know what's interesting is he had a place up in San Juan Islands.
Yeah.
And I worked at the film lab here in Portland, the only 35 millimeter film lab that was around. And when I was asked to go clean the vault or dust off everything and sort of categorize everything, I found some prints from Warren Miller that were in there. And it just so happened that Warren Miller knew Matt Groening's dad, who was Homer Groening.
Homer Groening.
The Simpsons, yeah. So he knew those two guys knew each other. And it's so funny because I pulled out a movie of Homer Groening's and it was hilarious. It was so funny. It was like talking about camp and all this stuff, but it was just so funny, written so well. It was, you could tell the two of them were friends. It was funny.
Classic. That's cool. That's super cool. Oh my God.
That's the weird stuff I bump into, which is funny, live connections.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Growing Up Aspen, a Joiner's Table podcast with our classmates. We'd like to thank the Aspen Times and the Aspen Daily News for letting us include some of their materials in our book, Growing Up Aspen, Adventures of the Unsupervised. The authors would like to thank you. If you're interested, you can check out our book at twistandturnpress.com or